Let's move on over to People's Pride. This is a very powerful segment on GTV. The host of People's Pride is हमारे जाने माने Dr. Satish Misra. आज Dr. Misra's guest is the president of HSC. HSC stands for Hindu Students Council. And the president is the good-looking Mr. Ravi Jaishankar.
Namaskar, this is Dr. Satish Misra. Welcome to People's Pride. Now, we are very proud to have Ravi Jaishankar as part of our guest today, as a guest, actually main guest in New Year. And we start with New Year with something very unique, a young man heading up Hindu Student Council as president. And also, I was part of the Hindu Student Council when it was formed in 1990 in Atlanta. Those days I was working there in Atlanta, and I felt so happy and proud and still skeptical about what's going to happen. Whether this new entity will help or whether they will be excited, whether they will make a contribution, and I am so happy to see that Hindu Student Council is really making a contribution towards not only dharma, but manavata, humanity. So, tell us a little bit about what has happened in the timeline, Hindu Student Council when it was started in 1990 in Atlanta to current time. A lot has happened, and I have kept up with that happening through newsletters and emails and participating in events. So, please, your turn.
Well, namaste everyone, and first of all, let me thank Satish ji for having me here. It is an honor and pleasure to be here. And thank you for inviting me to speak about HSC. Hindu Students Council, as you rightly said, has been around since 1990. We've had support from places all over America, Texas, Atlanta, Boston, New Jersey.
And India, all over the world.
Of course, all over the world, exactly. So it has grown tremendously since, and we are very grateful, especially to the community, for supporting us the entire way, because we as the next generation, we as the youth, we need our elders, our mentors, everybody's support to thrive and to succeed, and that's exactly what we've done, especially thanks to people just like Satish ji here. So
no, we are, we can give blessings.
Yes.
And also wherever we are needed to help out financially or otherwise, we are there. We are always there for a cause, for a mission. And Hindu Student Council has a mission. So tell me a little bit about the growth from 1990 to current time.
Absolutely. So in 1990, we started out in May, Memorial Day weekend, with our very first annual camp, our national camp, where we invited students from all over America to have a weekend retreat to listen to scholars and swamis and to connect with each other from a dharmic level. So ever since then, we've increased our membership throughout the country at different colleges. At our peak, we actually had over 90 chapters, 90 chapters in America at our peak.
My God,
and
that's a real progress.
Yes, yes. And as you know, the student population changes every year, so it's a little difficult to keep up with the organization just because of the way it's structured. So currently we have 50 chapters in America, and each of these chapters do their own activities by themselves, whether it's bhajans, whether it's pujas, discussion sessions, or having speakers.
Celebrations, festivals, Diwali, Holi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's at the chapter level, and at the national level, we have various events as well. We have regional retreats, so we have different regions carved out in America that have their own retreats, and we have national events as well that everybody comes to. In addition to leadership training, which is one of the most important things that we do, inculcating strong leadership foundations in our youth from a dharmic perspective, so that people can be strong leaders, not just in their own lives, but dharmic leaders and dharmic advocates as well.
That means what? That means that not boasting your ego, but contributing to the society.
Yes. So contributing through seva, contributing in different ways
to
society.
That's the word I like.
Dharma. But also knowing enough about Hinduism to be able to speak about it fluently and to be able to describe and provide answers to issues in a coherent and in a meaningful way.
So like national events, you said that there are several national. Can you highlight couple of them that you did in last 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, so actually just this past year, we did Global Dharma Conference.
Wow, in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yes.
It was such a wonderful 3-day event.
Yes, exactly.
And it had very reasonable structure and so many famous people. My God, mind blogging.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
enjoyed every second of it.
Thank you, Satish. It was very nice to have you there.
Yeah.
And this event, just like you said, had over 50 speakers and performers. We had over 1,000 people from 13 different countries.
I know, I
Sri
know.
Sri Ravi Shankar.
Yeah, it was so crowded.
Yes, exactly.
It was hard to keep up with everyone.
Yes,
And I
yeah.
met so many of my old friends related to HSC and VHP and Hindu Kaj and Hindu Dharma.
Exactly.
So,
Yes. So we want to bring the whole Hindu society together. We want to make contributions to the society from the bottom up so that the youth can essentially take the torch of Dharma. And that's the whole goal of HSC, so that we can transition the torch of Dharma to the next
it's
generation.
happening. It's happening. Believe me, I have seen that youth even here at so many UMBC, for example, UMUC college in Maryland. And in George Washington, what chapters do you have here?
So,
Active chapters?
Yeah, so we
in
have
this
Johns
area.
Hopkins,
Yeah.
we have UMD, UMBC in the area. Georgetown and GW, these actually used to be HSCs. So we have relationships with all of these organizations.
Oh, I see. That's good. What about College Park? You have something
Yes, we do,
going on?
UMDCP. Yes, we have a HSC chapter there.
Yeah, that's Baltimore County.
And UMBC and UMDCP as well. UMCP, I believe.
Okay. So
Yeah.
things are very active, and I like to know a little bit about national activities like summer camp and
Sure.
what do you do there?
Yeah, sure. So we have our national camp every year on Memorial Day weekend. It's a tradition that we have not stopped since 1990. Our 25th anniversary camp is coming up in May 2016.
Wow.
This year, actually 2015, is our 25th anniversary year as HSC. So
Wow.
we celebrated through the Dharma Conference. But some other events that we had Freedom Festival in 1997. We had our 2003 Dharma Conference. And we've always been youth and student focused. So every single year we'll have camps, retreats, and leadership conferences.
But anybody can join it.
Of
can
course.
participate in it.
Yes,
even though the
HSC
focus
members.
is student.
Yes, HSC members get discounts.
Oh, I see. That advantage. How can I become HSC member?
You're always welcome.
That is very good, some kind of discount, and we encourage all that activity because you are the torch bearer. You are the one who will spread Dharma, and Dharma is part of the HSC, very much part of the HSC, and other Hindu philosophy and temples and things like that.
Of course.
And here about college campuses, you said that how many chapters you have? 50?
50, yes.
About 50 chapters?
Yes.
They are spread from all over.
All over America, yes. And we have few in Canada and even one in Trinidad.
Wow. And what about India? You have anything going there?
We're working on it. It's a little bit of a logistical stretch, but we're working on it.
Yeah, there are so many activities going on in India. So you really don't need to see your presence there. But in Trinidad and USA and Canada, I'm very happy to see that things are happening.
Yeah.
And what is the impact in general society? Besides the, Hindu society, Hindu students and things like that, in general, what is the impact of HSC generally in the community we live in?
Yes. So at the very foundational level, when students go off to college, it's pretty difficult to keep them connected to their roots. It's difficult because they're in a very different environment. They actually want to run away, which is all fine, but essentially we want them to have some kind of tie, some kind of connection so that they can rejuvenate themselves and feel connected to their heritage. So from that perspective, we maintain that connection so it's not lost in later in life.
That's a very good contribution.
Yes.
Because
Our temples, our mandirs are actually seeing a lowering, a reducing of the next generation. The population of younger people is going down.
Yeah.
So this is something that HSC contributes to.
Do you also participate in HMEC, Hindu
Yes.
Mandir Executive Council?
Yes, we had a booth. We had speakers.
Did you go to Trinidad?
Yes, we went.
Yeah, you
we had
did.
about
I missed
3
it.
or 4 people there.
Yeah.
This past.
So next time,
HMEC.
I normally don't miss those conferences, but I'm glad that you did that. And what did you get out of that?
so
related to young people.
Yes, yes. Hindu Mandir Executives Conference is a very important event because you talk to all the leaders of these mandirs, you talk to their board of trustees, and you tell them that the youth need more from mandirs. It's not enough for a mandir to be just a ritual center. It has to be an education center, a social center, a seva center. It can be so many things that can bring the youth together. And that is something that the mandirs need to work on. So they're very open. They try to implement these things, and the youth being involved in that process is extremely important.
Yeah.
So
what about, besides being social center for temple, that is important component of the temple, besides doing rituals, what other things like philosophical and academic, do they have some role to play? Like academic reading Gita, philosophical reading other scriptures, Shastra, Vedas, and promoting those kind of activities.
Yes, exactly. I remember sitting in a mandir and sitting during puja, being totally disconnected, actually having resentment towards it because it was not meaningful to me in any way. If somehow the meaning, the translation, if there was some access, easier access, rather than having to jump through hoops to talk to the pandits who can't speak English that well, if there was some availability of what it truly means in a contemporarily relevant way, it would change the face of the next generation.
That's good. I'm glad you said that. I'm really happy that those are the kind of things that interpretation of the rituals that we do is very critical, not only to you, not only to students, but to me also, people of every age, because at some time we get tired of doing rituals, Om Jai Jagdish Hare, Satyanarayana Puja, but and they have a very deep meaning.
Exactly, not that
very,
there's
very
anything
deep
wrong.
meaning. Even Satyanarayana Puja has such a deep story of life.
Yeah, the spiritual depth underlying these rituals is immense, and if we could learn about it, we would be changed as people.
Yeah, and that will make an impact in young generation, everybody, that is spiritual depth. It's not just sitting there and doing puja, doing Om Jai Jagdish Hare and Tan Mandan Sab Kuch Tera. So that's not adequate. I'm very happy, and you are focusing on that.
Yes.
You are focusing on interpreting or understanding the rituals and spiritual depth and scriptures and things like that.
Because that's what we need as the next generation. After you've been taught, you've been told what to do, but one of the most important aspects of Dharma is self-discovery and self-cultivation. You are allowed to doubt. You are discouraged from blind faith. You have to question. You have to learn at a deeper level and integrate it within yourself. Otherwise, there's no meaning to Dharma.
So last message to our audience, what you have, especially for young people.
Sure.
Last message.
Oh, yes. Dharma is so much more than just religion. Religion is a Western concept that is very limited to just a set of beliefs. Dharma spans every single aspect of life, from science, medicine, to math, to war, economy. The amount of information, there's such a wealth of information, and the spiritual aspects underlie everything. The religious aspects are just one piece of this bigger pie. So to expose yourself to that, to look for things that are meaningful to you in your life, you see how yoga has changed the face of the West, see how mindfulness is the latest fad. These things, there's so much value, and as the inheritors of this incredible heritage, we can make a tremendous contribution to the world by owning it, by learning about it, and by living it authentically.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed having you.
Yes.
And
wonderful
I hope you have learned something today. And please remember Dharma. What he said, Dharma is most important than anything else.
Indeed.
Thank you very much. Namaskar. Namaskar and Happy New Year.